One more time, welcome each and everybody to this very first call we have today on March 6, 2025. And it is my big pleasure to have not only the CMO Ahmed Zain from Aurum Foundation, but the recently appointed CEO, Mr. Bryan Benson, with us. We met during the soft launch and the office opening. What is it, like 6 weeks ago, roughly 5, 6, 7 weeks? I'm lost in time and space already, but it's not that long ago. And we had the chance to discuss ways to cooperate with our own project. We are launching in July, which is all about tokenization in Bali, very spiritual. A healer network will be established, and we are looking to collaborate. And it was so nice to hear from both of you gentlemen that you are open for those things, that you're even considering taking our products in place. And that's always good to see that people understand that collaboration is bigger than competition. So, and now, as I always say, Bryan, we also had to donate in the recent past. We are, with all the people here been through several projects in blockchain and crypto, and some projects simply turned out to be a scam, or the company was not able to fulfill or to deliver, and lack of experience, lack of financial power. So thanks God, most of the projects are still on. But let me share my story. I heard Ahmed from Aurum by yourself like 2 years ago. It's quite a long time when the first approach was happened, when the guys behind the company went to the lawyer office where you are a partner in and was discussing regulations and licenses for Dubai. And from that time onwards, you started to share with me. And then I said, this all sounds too good to be true, but let's see. And then to make a story a bit shorter, I started in September to only put some family funds into it, simply because I know you, Ahmed, you're my best friend here in the UAE. So there was no question about it, but I was never considering the network piece as of that time. Only after you invited for the opening event, and guys and everybody who is watching now on March 6th or later, the replay, in all my 12 years of doing blockchain crypto things, I never was able to meet so many people, corporate people, decision makers from the background. Then in this one day in Dubai, when we had the soft launch, this was totally new. And then we had the talk of a potential partnership, and I decided I have to share it with my best friends, with the community we are building for so long, because it is probably this gem we all are looking for and hoping for, by knowing that 90% always is turning out to be a scam. And that's now, having you as a new CEO, it makes it kind of my duty or our duty to inform people that, we have a potential partner for our old baby, but same time a standalone opportunity for investors. I know it's not the word we should use, for people who wants to use the product, let's put it this way, as well for affiliates partners. And to have you, Bryan, on the call today for this interview is just amazing. So one more time, thank you for being with us, to giving us a chance, along with the greatest team on earth. Glad to have you aboard, Bryan.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here, and I appreciate you getting the people together to introduce me to them. So thank you.
And let's start right into it. When it comes to your background, this is mind blowing. I mean, we are reading about Morgan Stanley. You're a kind of a co-founder in Binance, who was building with CZ Binance. You've been the Latin America CEO of Binance and started as a chief, I think, strategy officer, mainly for the exchange Aurum was going to build, but now becoming a CEO. Please give us a bit of your background and your story, and your view of the journey you just started with Aurum.
Well, yeah, again, thank you for this space. It's really exciting to be here, and I'd love to dive right into a little bit about my background and where I've come from. So I'm originally from the United States, as you could probably tell by my accent. And I grew up outside of the United States. So when I was very small, my family moved to Peru, and I grew up there and graduated from high school, secondary school there, and then moved back to California to go to university. and spent the best years of my life there in California at university. Lived in Chicago for some time, and then moved back to Latin America, and have lived most of my life in Latin America outside of the United States. When it comes to my professional career, I started my career at Morgan Stanley. Actually, my last semester in university, I got a job because it was very close to my house, and this was the criteria. And so I started working in the mailroom, and I worked my way up to become a futures trader at Morgan Stanley. Eventually moving to San Francisco, where they also have a large, New York is the hub, but San Francisco is the West Coast hub for financial stuff in the United States. So I was really blessed to be able to learn sort of the discipline of institutional grade financial systems. I think this is something that has served me really well in my fintech career. Um, from there, I transitioned into digital assets, so crypto as we call it today, but even a wider than crypto, digital assets in general. So this includes RWAs, this includes stable coins, this includes all sorts of types of assets. And like you mentioned, I was the managing director of Latin America and helped to launch the localization efforts and the businesses in all of the countries in Latin America. So I helped set up the corporations, I helped set up the fiat on and off ramp, the bank accounts, and everything that was used to help grow the business at Binance. And this was really an amazing experience for me, because Binance at the time in 2019 when I started was really still quite a small company, and we had less than 20 million users at the time. In the region, we had less than a couple 100,000 users. So we were able to take that to multiple, tens of millions of users in our region, and oftentimes hundreds of billions of dollars a day in turnover. So yeah, my background I think fits really well with what Aurum's doing, because Aurum is sort of a hybrid of both of those things. I see it as a traditional financial play because we have the neobank, because we have the Aurum credit card, but it's also focused on digital assets. And as you guys probably know, the business was set up with the first product being a bot. So using the AI, the power of AI, to sort of cut out the emotions of trading and the human factor of trading, and get the best out of every trade. Um, and like you mentioned as well, I began as the director of strategy for the business, and was really focused on the Aurum exchange. So we're building an exchange here inside of Aurum, and we're going to be really excited to launch that later this year. Now, when I saw the opportunity to become the CEO, and when Ahmed and the rest of the corporate team asked me to consider it, it was something that you know I thought long and hard about, because I do not come from an affiliate marketing background, and this is one of those things that I think actually will play in our advantage, because I don't focus on the network, I don't focus on the affiliate, I focus on the products, I focus on the tech, and I focus on bringing the things that are going to work really well in these communities. And so I think if I have to sum it up in one word, it's ecosystem. At Aurum, we're building an ecosystem, and we're really trying to focus on getting this thing to a unicorn status. And what I like to say is we want to create 1,000 millionaires. And so if we can do that, then that will be $1 billion business. That will be a unicorn, and we'll be very excited if we can accomplish that. And we're well on our way to that. So that's a little bit about my background. I could talk for days and days about it, but I think that's enough for now. And if anyone has any other questions about it after this, we can dive into my background.
Super, super, super. I just, as an off topic, I was so happy to hear when Ahmed shared one story, because we had this Raffles Dubai opening, and there was this conversation. Hey, you are that time as a CEO, and you're like in a casual shirt, same as me, and so on and so forth. And he was saying, hey, you are representing the company. And I guess your answer was something like, have you ever been to Silicon Valley? And do you think all these billion-dollar people there are going with a tuxedo to work or something like that? And this is exactly my style. And I like just to point this out. That is amazing. And also what you just said, because we have some people very, 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 very good in affiliate marketing, but new to the crypto world. You just said Binance did billions of dollar volume on a daily basis. I just want to point this out, what we are talking about here. It's a whole transition into a new era of finances, and it's glad to have a potential new unicorn. Next question. And if you think for you, for your family, but for all crypto enthusiasts around the world, around the globe, but also for affiliate marketers, with your knowledge of Aurum as of today, why you think it is the place to be?
Well, that's a great question, and like I said, I thought long and hard about this opportunity, and that was the main thing that I was thinking about: is this right for myself? Is this right for my family, and all of us? And I think the conclusion I came to, and the reality is that Aurum is a powerful fintech tool that meets real world accessibility. And so I think those two things are extremely important to remember here, because at the end of the day, any product that we have in the financial world needs users, right? And so if we build this great product out here and it works magnificently well, but there's no one using it, then it's really not that useful, right? And so I realized and noticed this during my time at Binance, right? And so we were very keen on affiliate marketing at that time as well. It was a little bit different in flavor than it is in the network marketing side of things. But at the end of the day, community is community, and that's really what you're looking to find in these types of projects. And so it's about long-term financial resilience. To me, in an age of inflation and uncertainty. And I think the things that we see out there in the political world and the financial world and the economic world with, dare I say, Trump and all these crazy things happening out there, I think, you know, to have a trusted on ramp to this yield, to this liquidity, to this freedom is a very, very important thing for all of us, right? And for affiliate marketers specifically, Aurum is extremely unique. It's not an empty promise. It's not we start with affiliate and then we try and make products for it. It's just the opposite there. We start with good tech products and then we try and find affiliate marketers and community and people that can help us spread the good world. So at the end of the day, we're building a real ecosystem with working products, transparent leadership. Even though we wear t-shirts, we're going to be here in front of the whole thing, and it's really a long-term vision. We're not looking to get a couple years out of this and go retire. We're looking to build something that's going to not only help our community today, but well into the future and into the hopefully billions of people. So if you're looking to grow with something that's built to last, I think this is the place, and that's really what cemented my decision to come over as the CEO.
Wow, super, super. I'm so glad to hear the same. And yeah, thanks to Ahmed, actually, we have this affiliate piece. If you remember the story, right? He was saying to the main, let's say, people in the background, the investor group, he said, if you are considering an affiliate piece, you can count on me. But this is my passion, so it has to be like this. And it reminds me to my Instagram account. I have the best content, but nobody can watch it because I have no clue how to grow the community. Anyway, so even though you already touched base on the same, what is your personal vision for the company? Where do you, if you look into the crystal ball, where do you see Aurum by end of this year, in the next 2 years, in the next 3 years? Everything happens so fast in the crypto space, so that's why I make short-term ideas. If yeah, how does it
Yeah,
look? What is
I think if we look at the future, I think things do happen fast in the crypto space, but quality projects still need a good foundation and are built with time, right? It's not an instant recipe for success. And I think it's important. My vision for Aurum is to become the most trusted and widely used fintech and digital asset platform that has ever emerged from the network driven marketing model, right? And so that to me is the key. Maybe we won't take on the biggest banks in the world. They have a big head start on us. Maybe we won't get to the Binance levels in the next 2 or 3 years. But what we're really focused on is bringing the most solid project to the network marketing business that there has ever been. And so this is a full financial suite. I'm not talking about a product. I'm talking about an ecosystem. And I'll use that word a lot, and you'll probably get tired of it. But that's really a focus of what we're doing here. So I'm talking about an exchange. I'm talking about a card. I'm talking about a blockchain. I'm talking about a token. I'm talking about an OTC desk where we can then eventually give services to institutions and to high net worth individuals, a neobank, and all of these things together create the ecosystem. So, really, what we're looking to do is build a trusted brand in the market. And by 2026, I can see us reaching millions of users across emerging markets, across all markets, really. But I think our sweet spot is going to be emerging markets, Latin America, Africa, Southeast Asia, Europe, Eastern Europe, some of these areas. And I think what we're really focused on doing is bring reliable digital financial tools to places where traditional banking may be lacking a little bit. And so I think there's a huge opportunity here, and we're really excited to take advantage of that.
Wow. Yeah, you just have touched the base and the word of network and affiliate. And this is my next question all about, because you said you never been into network before, right? So for sure you heard about the countless blockchain crypto projects which had an affiliate, a network piece involved, and turned out to be a scam or simply had left the market because missing experience, missing financial power, and probably missing vision. So what is your view now on this crazy market having this history when it comes to our own?
Well, I think you're correct there. I came from an institutional crypto and finance background and not the affiliate world. I've always been curious about it. I've always thought it was a very interesting way to build a community, but it never really fit into my career path. And maybe that's exactly what's needed here. I think it actually is a benefit for us, not a detriment to the project here. And as you mentioned, we've all seen these so-called projects that use network marketing as a front for hype, for doing things that maybe aren't as transparent as they could be, with no real product behind it, right? And so the product is the next guy in your downline. The product is the network itself, right? And that's something that when I got into Aurum, I was very sure that I wasn't being involved in. And actually, it's just the opposite here. We lead with real utility, with real income, with real returns on investment. Um, these are products that actually work. I've tested them myself. Aurum is a trading infrastructure, it's a professional execution layer, and it's something that the affiliate structure is able to take advantage of, not as just a distribution layer, but as helping people grow with us, with their communities. And I think that's what sets us apart from some of the other projects, and I think that's what gives us the opportunity to grow into a fintech unicorn. So, at the end of the day, uh, I'm not a network marketer it, until I am. And now I am. And I'm really excited to learn from all of you guys how this business works and to share some of my knowledge on how the digital asset space can work and how these businesses can be built and scaled rapidly and put in the hard work to get us all there.
Cool. Yeah, let's dive into the product. I have two, three more questions, and I think we have a good timeline for an interview, which for sure will go viral, and I'm already excited. Everything in life, Brian, you know this better than probably many people, comes with risk against chances, and so it does in our area and in Aurum as well. So, what would be your word to people, potential consumers, clients, or community members who are going to watch this interview when it comes to, hey, make use of this great portfolio within the ecosystem of the fintech products Aurum is going to offer? What would be your, how to say, your advice for them when it comes to step into it, probably the very first time, when it comes to the risk being involved?
Well, my first advice is that every opportunity has risk, like you just mentioned, right? And so we have to take our own future into our own hands and do our own research and really dive in and understand what the real opportunities are versus the sort of the noise that can be had from the marketplace, right? And so not every opportunity is created equal, and I think that's really what makes Aurum different and stand out and special. It's the range of real risk management tools. So the automated trading bias are being adjusted. We've recently gone from high frequency trading, lots of trades, to a cap on 10 trades because we saw that this was a daily. We saw that this was a really excellent way to be able to manage risk while still getting the yields that we need. The proprietary exchange is another good example of this, right? If you have risk that you make a giant trade and the exchange disappears and goes away with your money, this is another thing that we need to be very careful of. The credit card is also something that gives us great global utility. So I think that the neobank itself, as it relates to the credit card, as it relates to the trading bots, as it relates to the blockchain and to the token, um, are really powerful products. And my advice, I guess, is to first of all, don't invest what you can't lose, and engage in smart diversification across the ecosystem. So, don't put all your eggs in one basket is another good way to say this. Um, but use the tools that are available to you, right? So start to learn how these things work, why we're able to get these kind of yields, why we're able to sustain them for long periods of time. And I think it's also very important. Like, if you don't want to have risk, then put your money under the mattress and the inflation will eat it up, right? Like, that's a good way to look at it. If you want to have very low risk, put it in a CD, and lock it for the bank so that they can make all the money. That's fine. Every person has a different type of risk appetite, but we're really here to help people grow long-term wealth through structure, community, and transparency. And I think the key word there is community, because as we grow our community and as there's more of us doing this, we're able to get the momentum going faster and faster. And it's kind of like a snowball that starts small and starts rolling down the hill. By the time it gets to the bottom of the mountain, it's an avalanche. And I think it's something that I use that analogy a lot, because once we get a big enough community, once we get people using our product and in the hundreds of thousands and millions of users, it'll be absolutely unstoppable. And we'll still have the same level of transparency. We'll still have the same financial structure based on institutional grade finance, but the community is the key here. And that's really, I think, what I want to stress is, let's build a huge community that can take advantage of these things, and let's change the lives of many, many people while doing it.
That's our job. Absolutely. Thank you so much. And yeah, how to say, we are seeing amazing results. And I just yesterday had a cool interview with one of the joinees today, with Patrick, who's a very well-known guy in the German-speaking world, with his business, with his influences and his companies, and he's kind of new into it. And we made a very careful interview to slowly approach his friends in a way, very softly, simply to avoid that later they will say, Patrick, why you didn't tell me? You make use of it, why you didn't tell me? So this was the idea. And the first feedback he got was, hey, this profit, this whole offer is simply too good to be true. So talking about the flagship product, the XAI bot, which I'm using most of the time, along with the beautiful Telegram mini app, which is also my favorite product. These two I'm using most of the time and sharing the same. So for such a long time, the company and the AI in the background, actually for years, is doing this, is learning, is improving. And we are talking about 15, 16, 17, sometimes 18% per month. So this is crazy, crazy good, of course. But with your experience in this market, do you think this can sustain? This can be with a huge community grow, with a more and more volume into the trades, and probably coming along with a more powerful risk management, same time as we are talking about huge amounts. Do you think these results can keep and can keep steady for a long run?
The answer is I don't know. We're going to do our very best to do as well as we can, but there's no doubt that these returns are strong. And I guess what I would go to is a little bit of my answer in the previous question is, we're not performing magic over here, right? I think if you take a look at a bank and you try to understand how their returns work and how they build their businesses, I think what we're doing pales in comparison to what a lot of successful banks do. The difference is that the structure of a bank requires a lot more overhead. And so at the end of the day, the profits are quite lower. But if banks get involved in fractional lending and mortgages and all these juicy products for banks, they're making well over what we're making here. So I think that the results that you see here are years of testing. And we have really good back end systems that allow us to not only test these, but refine the strategies as we go, and use, the volatility to our favor, right? And so we manage this volatility, and our team really knows how to do that really well. Um, but with that said, I think the markets change, and I can't predict the future. My crystal ball doesn't work like it used to when I was younger. I'm not able to predict the future. But what I do guarantee is that we are constantly adjusting, we're constantly optimizing, and we're constantly operating with transparency. So everyone can see exactly what's going on. And I think the important thing here is our job is to protect the downside, right? Like if people earn 1 point less next month, they're not going to be upset. If they lose all their money, they're going to be very upset. And so this is the premise by which I run the business and I do my job is we need to really protect everyone's downside, and that's the only way that we can sustain performance at scale. And I think we're doing a pretty good job of doing it, and I think it's going to actually be easier as we start to get more volume, not harder. I think if you take a look at my answer about the banks, if you have a community bank that has 1,000 people, I don't think they can make as much money as Morgan Stanley or JP Morgan or some of Deutsche Bank or some of the bigger banks out there in the world, right? And so I think this product that we have here scales really nicely, and I'm not afraid of the future because I know exactly what we're building. I know exactly how we can control this risk to not affect us on the downside and always look for that positive upside. So yeah, I actually, when I started, thought that the profits were too good to be true. And this is my exact question to Ahmed when I started. And slowly and surely I saw from the results, from the tech, from the people behind the tech, our developers, our trading team, really quality individuals and processes. And so I have every confidence that we'll be able to continue to do really amazing things. But again, there's no guarantee for the future, and we'll do our very best to optimize and solve for that.
Yeah, cool. I can only also just oh, my English is so bad. You're right what you're saying, because Ahmed was so nice to put me in a Telegram group with, I think, like 8 of the people running certain departments, and the way of handling things, no matter if it is probably a typo all the way to something needs to be changed. I never had this experience. So the team really behind seems to be outstanding. I have 2 more questions. The one is, if you can today, March 6th, if you are able, if you like, to probably give a glimpse of the future, of new products, of new developments happening in the background, and probably a plan for this year itself, if you can. But keep in mind, this interview might go viral, so probably think twice what you are going to share.
Yeah, I think this is a simple question for me because this is my everyday thought process here is how are we going to build the next thing that's going to bring people in and keep people here. So what we're trying to do is create such a ecosystem where once someone's in, it's sticky and they're able to use different products and better their lives. And so I think there's a few things that I'll touch on. There's a few things that we're building in stealth mode, I guess, that I probably shouldn't talk about since it may go viral. But I think there's 4 or 5 things that I'd like to stress on here. And first is the Aurum Neobank. Like you said, it's one of your favorite products, and we're really focused on improving that and creating more tools whereby people can uh, use this as their main bank, right? And so that's one of the things that I'm really focused on is how do we pull people away from the banking apps that they're using, be that Revolut or the local bank's app, or these kinds of things, and how do we give them as good or better tools that can plug into the Aurum family of products, right? And so the neobank is the first one, and it really is a sleek, intuitive financial platform that lets us manage digital assets, connect to real world payments, and those two things right there are able to bridge the gap between theory and everyday life, right? And so I think that's an important thing. The second thing that I'm extremely focused on, because this was part of my mission from the very first day I started, is the Aurum Exchange. I'm really focused on bringing a proprietary trading platform that's built for speed and usability of our group. So people don't have to, if they have Bitcoin, they don't have to go to Binance or another exchange, trade it into USDT to fund their accounts. We're going to be able to take almost any type of asset, turn it into the type of asset that you can then use within the ecosystem. So the exchange, I think, is going to be the core of our trading infrastructure. It's going to support the bots. It's going to support the signals. It's going to support new pairs. It's going to support copy trading. It's going to support all sorts of really cool things that people are going to be able to use beyond the current product set that we have. Um, the next thing that I'll mention is the credit card. Now that we've been talking about this for a long time, and I think it's one of the holy grails in the crypto world, is getting a really well functioning credit card that doesn't cost an arm and leg to use, right? And that can be used throughout the world anywhere that Mastercard or Visa are accepted. And this is something that I absolutely love. I was involved in the Binance card. I've been involved in projects between Aurum and Binance where I've built credit card processing um, systems and ecosystems. And I just love the whole credit card thing because I think it's such a useful thing. If you can have the Aurum card inside your phone, Apple Pay, Google Pay, Samsung Pay, and use that directly tied to your investment, directly tied to your profits, directly tied to the finance that you have in Aurum, you're going to be more likely to bring over a little bit more money and have a little bit more faith in the system because you know that you can use this at any point in time to buy a coffee, to buy an airline ticket, or whatever it is that you need at that point. So I think it's not just going to be a card; it's going to be a tool that creates stickiness inside of our ecosystem. But it also is going to have yield bearing products. It's going to be a mobile first type of product. And it's going to be extremely useful to our ecosystem and to our community. And then the last thing that I'll touch on real quickly I mentioned earlier, real briefly, is an OTC desk. So this stands for over the counter, and this is a way to trade cryptos without going through an exchange. So oftentimes, if there's a large trade from an institution, from a high net worth individual, from someone that just wants to, buy $3 million worth of Bitcoin or sell $3 million worth of Bitcoin into USDT, this can be a hard thing to do without slippage, without the price changing, without there being sort of a little bit of monkeying around with the order. And once we get traction with our community, with the amount of traffic that's going through there, then we're going to have a tailor-made opportunity to offer OTC services to institutions as well. And this is something also that I have a great deal of experience with, and I'm very excited to bring out there because it's a very simple product to create. What's hard to do is to bring those trades into the OTC desk, right? And I think with the network that we have here with the community, as we start to grow, there will be people, there will be opportunities for us to go out to institutions and bring them over to create value for the Aurum ecosystem as well. So I'm really excited about those products. I think I'll stop there because I don't want to give too much away, but these are not just ideas in someone's head. These are not, pipe dreams, as we may say. These are actual developments that we're currently working on and soon to launch. So the other thing that's important to understand here is that these are all connected. So this actually really forms a robust ecosystem, and this supports users from their first trade to long-term wealth management. And I think that's really what we're focused on, is how do we get people in, get them comfortable, get them earning, but then keep them here so that they can have this be a place where they can use our products to build the wealth for themselves, from the families, and for their communities. So uh, yeah, I think that's enough for now, but there's a lot of more things in the works, and we're pretty excited to launch these products this year.
Cool. Yeah, and probably even something we can do together when it comes to our real world assets to give and take and make use of both communities. Amazing. Last question is, are we going to meet in person in Antalya? Will this be like the official opening, or is it just one next step during the soft launch part? Are you planning to get some of the things to launch over there? But most important is, are you there as well? So is it a point for the community being with us today or looking at the video later on to make everything in order to be in Antalya in this 3-day event?
Well, I'll make a deal with you right now on this call, Tom. If you're there, I'll be there. Okay. But yeah, no, I'm planning on being there. Of course, I'll be there. I wouldn't, not only is it going to be a beautiful place, but I think it's going to be an incredible time to build face-to-face relationships, to show the world what our community really is about, what we're capable of. And I think, you're going to see that we're just getting started, whatever we call it, whether it's a soft launch, whether it's a pre-launch, whether it's the first launch. Like, I'm not that much into the nomenclature of this event. What I am into is getting as many people there so that I can meet them personally, so that they can know who I am personally, and why they may not be that impressed by my outfit. I think they're going to be impressed by the amount of quality, technology, and abilities to scale a business. I think that's really the most important thing here. So yeah, I'm going to be there for sure. I'd love to see you. I'd love to see as many of the people on this call, the leaders, and all of their communities there. It's going to be a great time. It's going to be, not only is it going to be educational, but it's going to be fun. I think that's really one of the things that we're focused on here is creating something that people are happy with, that they like, that they want to enjoy. And I think that's right up the alley of this Antalya thing. And I've never been to Antalya before, so I'm really excited to check it out. I heard it's an amazing place. So
Yeah, absolutely. It's a nice place. That's for sure. Yes, thank you so much. First of all, Ahmed, to introduce us already 2 years ago, and to keep shaking me to have a closer look, which finally happened a few weeks back. Thank you so much, Bryan, for taking the time. We will end this interview now, but I would love to have you on the call for probably another 20, 30 minutes for this core group here on the call to answer probably questions or get some feedback. For all other audience, thank you so much. Get back to the one who invited you to this video, who invited you to Aurum, to make sure to get a spot. It is, and I just say it again, this gem we all were waiting and hoping for in the last years. And I get more and more the feeling that this is, along with our own baby, exactly the case. Thank you so much, Bryan, and to all others, thanks for joining, and see you probably in Antalya.